welcome into the 11th episode of the Out of Bounds podcast presented by the Penn IUP Student Voice, dating back to 1926. I am your host, Josh Carney, joined in studio by Kyle Condor and Dimitri George. And guys, in case you missed it in the news this past weekend, New York Knicks point guard Raymond Felton was arrested on 3 counts of possessing a gun. I think we're going to run down that really quickly. He's been charged with second-degree and third-degree criminal possession of a firearm, which are both felonies, and a misdemeanor count of fourth-degree possession of a firearm. He allegedly pointed a loaded handgun at a female. We know it was not his ex-wife, who had recently divorced him in the past week. That's according to Deadspin. They're pretty reliable when it comes to that stuff. But I don't really want to talk about the situation with Raymond Felton. I don't want to talk about moving forward with the Knicks because they're bad. He came out and said it won't be a distraction for the Knicks. That's a flat-out lie. I want to talk about athletes still dealing with guns in general. Dimitri, you mentioned before we started recording this podcast that Plexico Burress incident in, I believe, 2005, 2006.
Let me double check.
No, it was 2008 because the Steelers' Super Bowl was 2005, and it was.
Well, that was the year. That was the year he went to the Giants.
Yes.
That was his first year as a New York Giant, and I want to say it was 2008 because it was him and Antonio Pierce were involved in it. Let me double check.
But he had a clean year with the Giants first.
I don't
the
think
year that they went to the Super Bowl, he didn't. That was after that, right?
Yes, it was after that. It was after. So it must have been 2008 because they won the Super Bowl in 2007. Plex, I think, was in March or May.
November 30th, 2008.
Oh, that's right. Because he wasn't in their 2008 playoff when they were the number 1 seed and got bounced by the Eagles, and I think in the first round. I remember that. Yeah.
If you don't recall, Plexico Burress and Antonio Pierce were at a nightclub, and that was Friday night, I believe. And the gun slipped down from his sweatpants waistband, and the bullet went through his thigh muscle and didn't hit any bones or arteries. He was lucky. No broken bones. But again, athletes with guns. Why are you taking a loaded gun to a nightclub? And I think people are afraid that they're going to come after them in a sense. Athletes are afraid that they're a target.
Which I can't be mad at them for that.
I mean, my only problem is they have all this money in the world. They have these multi-million-dollar contracts. Go pay for a bodyguard. I guess that makes you look like something I can't say on the show, but
A tool?
there you go. That makes you look like a tool for walking around with a bodyguard. It's like, oh, you can't stick up for yourself. But
Floyd Mayweather?
You know who has a bodyguard?
Paul Pierce.
No, we talked about him. We talked about
Stabbed and they got a bodyguard.
we talked about this guy in the last episode. 2 episodes ago, I'm sorry.
I'm out of guesses.
Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait.
No, you got to.
Why-
What was it?
Well, he's young.
I forget what you just said.
Isn't he about to turn 20? I can't believe we're talking about Bieber right now. We got to stop talking about
Yeah,
Bieber.
that's the last time that name. I swear. But the thing is,
Listen, I'm trying to get believers to follow our podcast and follow us on Twitter, okay? They are a strong nation of people, all right?
they're his bodyguards, you know.
No, but
Anyway.
Floyd Mayweather has a bodyguard. I mean,
and rightfully so. Dude, they're making millions.
No,
Like,
need a bodyguard. Oh my God, he'll throw a 2-piece at you before you can even
yeah,
blink.
and then he goes to jail for it. His hands are weapons.
No, if someone attacks him, I'm not gonna go to jail. It's what do they call it?
Self-defense?
Self-defense.
But
If
their
somebody
hands
just
are weapons.
Floyd Mayweather's hands are weapons,
Yeah,
not ours.
legally. Yeah, legally weapons. And he can't beat everybody.
He's 49-0.
Yeah, at
Hey,
his weight class
do you
in boxing.
Do you think Kimbo Slice can beat him?
Yes. He'd throw Floyd Mayweather like a rag doll. He's 150. Kimbo Slice is like 300.
He would
And
throw
he would kick Floyd
30
Mayweather.
punches before Kimbo Slice
He would
even
eat
lifted
them.
his arm.
He would eat them. Like if he really fought the Big Show would throw Floyd Mayweather into the stands if that was true. And I think he did actually, but
Wait, we got to get the WWE expert in on this really quickly.
Whoa, when did I become the WWE expert? Just because I watch wrestling at your house all the time.
Hey, you know what? you're the only one in the room that is the WWE guy.
I'm pretty sure Big Show. I thought he punched him. I thought or was that? No, that was Mike Tyson punched someone else. Never mind.
Whatever. Point to be made here is that everybody who is a multi-million-dollar person should be walking around with a bodyguard rather than a gun, whether your hands are weapons or not. They need bodyguards because they shouldn't be the ones fighting the battles when people who are of lesser status try to start with them just to get their names out there.
I see your point, but let me raise this question to you guys before we move on. Should the commissioners of every professional league step in and set a rule saying you can't carry weapons? I mean, Belcher from the Kansas City Chiefs shot his girlfriend and killed her, and then killed himself in the parking lot of the Chiefs facility. Plexico Burress accidentally shot himself in the leg. Raymond Felton pointed a loaded gun at a female.
Gilbert Arenas brings a gun into the locker room just to show it off. I mean, these guys are idiots.
Speaking of his teammate, was it Javaris Crittenton?
Yes.
Had multiple weapons. Multiple. Something has to be done about this. I mean, I enjoy firearms, but for a different reason. I'm not looking to hurt someone. But
or even to defend yourself.
No, I don't have it to defend myself.
I mean, these guys are going to get attacked. They're million-dollar men. I mean, they go to strip clubs just to enjoy themselves. They got to have something to defend themselves, but they need bodyguards. But my question is, there's not already rules in each professional league that prohibits them from carrying guns? There's no rule for that?
I think in the NBA now, you're not allowed to have it in the locker room because of the whole Gilbert Arenas, Javaris Crittenton situation.
You were allowed to have a gun in the locker room before that?
I think it was like I don't think anyone even thought about someone even bringing one in. I think no one thought who's gonna bring one, and I think
what's next? Like somebody's gonna bring a bomb in the locker room. We need to make a rule for this. It's like shouldn't there already be one?
That's funny that you say that because just real quick, I know that Mike Pereira, former NFL head of officials, just said that there's already a sort of a rule. You know, you've heard talk about the N-word. At least recently, and how they want to make a rule to ban it in the NFL. Mike Pereira already said that there's already a rule that you can't use some kind of on the field. You can't use some kind of derogatory language or any slurs to anybody. You get penalty in the game. And he said that while he knows that they're trying to really make a note of they don't want the N-word to be used, but that there's already a rule for it, and that he doesn't think that he thinks that it just needs to be enforced a little bit more than it has been.
Yeah, I think someone really needs to step up and take these weapons away from these athletes. Set up a protective services or something. I mean, Kyle, you bring up a great point. Why not just hire a bodyguard? It's a difficult situation.
With money comes ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to stick up for themselves. But when you're making that much money, you got to say, look, I'm making this much money. I need somebody to protect me besides myself. I mean, look what I brought up the Paul Pierce situation. This happened a long time ago when, Paul Pierce got stabbed at a club or something, right? He hired a bodyguard right after. He was like, I can't do this anymore.
And, I mean, we don't really know what kind of, scrutiny athletes are under and what kind of spotlight they live because we are not the multi-millionaires that they are. But I could say firsthand that I would definitely have a bodyguard. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think. Oh, Dimitri's walking the streets with a bodyguard. He can't fend for himself. I don't give a damn.
I believe there was one athlete before I think it was 2006. I think it was an NBA guy. He went to a club wearing a bulletproof vest. Like, come on.
50 Cent shit right there.
Yeah. Aaron Hernandez.
I like how you said that. A little Rican in you. Sorry. Aaron, who just got moved because he beat somebody up in jail. Have yourself a jail sentence.
And we had someone reach out to our podcast Twitter handle saying, we don't care. The hell you don't care? It's Aaron Hernandez. Come on.
You're here. I know you're here. Hernandez.
What do you want me to say? Hernandez?
Yeah. I mean,
white people crap. Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah. Seriously. Seriously, Josh.
I'm sorry, Dimitri. But moving on to more violence in a sense. Also,
we have to be sensitive about the situation.
I know, because it's alleged. We haven't seen the full-scale tape of the Ray Rice incident with is it his fiance or his wife?
Fiance.
Okay, they were at a casino where? At Atlantic City, and there was video of him, in a sense, dragging his fiance out of an elevator. It appeared she was inebriated, but apparently she was knocked out, in a sense, because allegedly, and I use that word very strongly, Ray Rice struck her and knocked her out. I want to talk about the off-the-field stuff quickly, because this is bad for the Ravens. Keep in mind, in the last 15 years with this organization, what happened in 2000 after the Super Bowl? Their star player, Ray Rice. Ray Lewis. I'm sorry, Ray. Interesting.
Right.
Both Ray. Ray Lewis allegedly, I'm going to use that loosely, stabbed someone, and that person died, correct?
Yes.
Allegedly stabbed 50-something times.
Yes.
Also.
Jamal Lewis also.
Mm-hmm. Jamal Lewis. I don't remember what he did.
I think it was drug. I think it was drug related.
Okay.
Joe Flacco murdered.
Their salary cap.
Nice. That salary cap is dead. Who else? I'm missing people. Chris McAllister. I feel he was involved in something at one point.
I know what you're. I know. I mean, this is not a bad thing, but Sergio Kindle, their draft pick, unfortunate events.
Can we stick to the subject and leave the Ravens alone, Steelers fans?
Hey, what do you? I'm unbiased here, and so is he. This is facts.
San Antonio Holmes got dumped from the Steelers for a bag of chips because he couldn't stop smoking weed. Who is now will be soon to be cut by the Jets. I would never. If there's a Steeler who has issues off the field, I'm not gonna deny that.
Alameda Teamu.
Well, what's the question? What do we need to know about Ray Rice? What do we care? Why are we?
How bad does this look for the Ravens organization right now? And leading up to that, what happens to Ray Rice? To me, personally, I think he still has to stay with that team. Okay? If they stuck by Ray Lewis, why does it make it okay for them to dump Ray Rice like everyone's calling them to? I mean, there's James Harrison, domestic dispute with his fiancée at the time. Apparently beat the crap out of her. The Steelers kept him employed.
There seems to be a running theme here of
Football players are violent?
domestic abuse specifically.
Yeah, no, this blows right by. Whether he gets found guilty, or I don't know if you consider it guilty, or whether they find out that Ray Rice actually beat his wife or not, this is just something that's going to go blow right by. In a month, nobody's going to be talking about this.
They're going to be talking about the draft.
Yeah. Nobody's going to be talking about this. It's not going to affect the Ravens organization at all, and they're definitely not going to let him go. With all the players they've already lost from that Super Bowl team, there goes if they let Ray Rice go, there goes probably a top 5 player on that team. Most important player.
But here's my problem, and I don't know if Josh, if you're heading this way, but you want to make
really quickly. Dante Stallworth, did he not play with the Ravens when he killed that guy with his car?
He was
Or was he a Patriot?
I think he was a Patriot. I think he was a Patriot.
Oh, he was on the Browns, I thought.
He might have been the Browns too.
He was in the AFC North. But Dimitri, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if you're going this way, but what my point about this whole Ray Rice situation is, if reports are true and he struck his fiancée, knocking her unconscious, if that's true, how does that not get the publicity that the Michael Sam announcement? Why does that everyone just push that under the rug? But Michael Sam comes out and says that he's gay, and now that affects him as a potential draft pick, and now they're saying that he might not even get drafted. How does him coming out being gay more newsworthy, I guess, than Ray Rice potentially knocking his fiancée out?
Because how many players do we just name that have knocked their fiancé out or shot somebody or beat somebody up, like 50 plus. This is the first dude that said he's gay. The first dude. Like I just said, the Ray Rice thing is gonna blow over. It's happened before.
But what if he does? And what if?
Oh well, that's just another guy. Put him in the books of a guy who beat his wife.
So
Michael Sam's the first one.
But I see what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, how come I don't understand why. No one's even talking about it. This dude might just. It's not
People are talking about it. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
And you'll see an article similar to this in today's issue of The Pen. Our colleague Cody Benjamin wrote about how the media is giving Michael Sam the Tim Tebow treatment, where every little thing he does is blown up. I remember when he went to accept the Missouri SEC West title at the basketball game, at halftime of the basketball game, that was replayed on SportsCenter for 2 days because they gave him a standing ovation and they blocked protesters off from getting to the arena from, I can't remember what church it was. It's one of the churches that's known for protesting. Yes. I mean, everything Michael Sam does is overblown. Like, granted.
First gay NFL player. Well, assuming he's going to be an NFL player.
I'm saying that deserves to be blown up. It's a great story, but at the same time, when you have a guy that allegedly strikes his wife and drags her out of an elevator and is caught on camera, and that's just, oh hey, Ray Rice did this. Moving on, Michael Sam.
Let me clarify what I'm trying to say. Why is Michael Sam being talked about in a negative way? I don't understand why it's. Listen, everyone has their opinions on gay rights and all that, but why it's such a negative thing that he came out as gay and had the courage to come out and say I'm gay and I'm proud to be it, but yet, you're Ray Rice. He maybe just knocked his fiance out, and we're just gonna. Yes, we're gonna just throw it under the rug because
it happens so many times. Like Ray Rice, all right, and then Ray Rice beats his wife, but then you have another guy taking a gun out on his wife, which is way more serious. Whether he obviously didn't shoot her, but I don't know. That's way more serious. Like she'll get over getting beat. The dude just took a gun out on his wife, and the Ray Rice thing is now just gonna go right under the rug.
If he gets suspended or if he gets jail time, he just signed a long-term contract from the Ravens, and they're some say that they don't believe that they're gonna cut him, but conversations are coming up.
No
this
way.
This is not just a Ravens thing. This is an NFL thing.
The Ravens,
just because it happens all the time doesn't make it right.
The Ravens have to act like they care a little bit, but really they don't. Sadly enough, they only care what he does on the field. They're not going to cut him.
I guess what I'm saying is our society is shot.
Pretty much, but it just happens so much. That's why it's not getting blown up.
I agree with you, but that doesn't mean it's okay.
Here's what should happen. If Ben Roethlisberger can be suspended 4 games for alleged rape. Now, granted, it happened twice. Ray Rice, this is caught on tape. Something has to happen. He has to be suspended for a few games. I'm not saying that, but to me, it's degrading to women. If the NFL lets him skate by because of this, what kind of image are they giving off that
That's what I'm saying.
we let whatever they want to do happen and you're not going to punish them? Do I think Ray Rice should be released for it? No, because there have been worse things that have happened. There have been similar situations all across the NFL, and players haven't been released for it. So I think if Ray Rice were to be released by the Ravens, it would be very hypocritical. But at the same time, he has to be punished, whether it's docking him pay, suspending him, or making him sit out the year. I think that's going a bit too far. But
yeah. No, he'll get 4-game suspension, but if they cut him, that's ridiculous. Because, sadly enough, there's probably a percentage of NFL players that beat their wives.
Ray Rice is coming off a very awful year for Ray Rice standards.
660 yards.
Now, what if they say we didn't really? No one would believe the Ravens for a second. But what if they said, you know what, we're gonna part ways with you because of your performance. But no one's gonna believe him because of this situation that's behind it. But you could.
Then other NFL teams are going to be drooling over him, saying, "I'll take that performance."
Absolutely. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, that's a strategy, or that's a way that the Ravens can do it and say, you know what, if reports are true that he did it, and you know what, they don't want that kind of they don't want to have their organization that kind of image with their organization. We're going to part ways with Ray Rice, but not say that because of that, but because last year he struggled, and they don't think that he can. They don't think he's the same player.
I'll say this before we move on. I think that the Ravens should take a page out of the Patriots playbook when it comes to handling situations like this, because I thought the Patriots did a great job handling the Aaron Hernandez situation. They let the full report come out, and then immediately gone. See ya. When you're mentioned in the news again, you cannot say current Patriots tight end. It's always former Patriots or free agent tight end. This is bad for the Ravens organization. This is really bad because he's the face of the franchise, whether you want to believe that or not. Him and Joe Flacco are the face of the franchise.
The Patriots didn't hesitate to get rid of Hernandez.
And get this, how hypocritical this could be. Ray Rice is the leading activist for bullying, for putting down bullying in the Baltimore area. He works with every school in the Baltimore area trying to get rid of bullying, yet he allegedly beat his wife.
Well, that's something he should get released from.
I just think anyone that strikes a female like that is a coward. And
I think we could just go for anyone in general at this point. Like, it's bad that NFL players are getting into fights. Like, this is astonishing to me. And I kind of feel Kyle's pain in that it's like, why are we letting this just occur? Like, when we were doing this pre-show, it was just this amazing moment of like, oh my God, this guy did it. He did it. He did it. He did it. And like, what? We're only talking Roethlisberger had a 4 game for what he did. Hernandez was cut. I don't think Dante or
He 30 days in jail.
I thought it was only like 2 games or something because he played later that year.
Well, he got 30 days in jail.
Yeah,
he got 30 days in jail.
Ahmad Bradshaw, what did he do? I remember after the 2008 season, the 2007 season when they won the Super Bowl, I think he had to do 30 days in jail after the season.
The NFL can't suspend players like this for length of time because there goes a lot of revenue. They'd have no players left.
Look at this.
If they suspended players left and right
They
like
need
that.
to save face. Yeah. They are not looking great in the media and have not been looking great for this entire year.
Decade.
Look at it this way.
Decade is a great way to put it, Kyle.
Yeah, entire
this
decade.
whole decade has been, hey, look at what the NFL player did this week. Like, how does that look great for your league? I almost
look at it this way. Oh, you could bleep it out later, but look at it this way. Chris Henry, prime example. So many off the field issues. NFL never did a damn thing about it, and then he died because he was in an argument with his wife, and she sped off when he was in the back of the truck, and he fell out and died.
He was suspended a couple of times.
But they never did any counseling for him, any treatments. They just suspended him, say, work it out on your own.
When you do get suspended for issues like this, does the NFL force you into counseling, anything like that? Because I know there are other sports groups, leagues, things that force like mandatory counseling with suspensions and things like that.
Nope.
All these guys know is football from the time they're, let's say, 16.
Well, Joe Philbin just said that when the whole Jonathan Martin thing started to come out, that they went and got him the proper treatment right away.
Which is good for the Dolphins, but that's one team. One team.
Well, I mean, that situation still looked like shit.
Yeah.
So the only onus would be on the actual group themselves. I don't want to draw this out anymore, but I'm just curious. Onus would only be on the team to say you need to complete this. They could do something like that.
The NFL could step up and do something like that.
They can. Have they ever?
It's all about keeping the train moving forward. They're fueled by green. That's it. That's all they care about.
Did you see, real quick, this is totally off topic, did you see the plan for 2015 for the playoffs? No, I did not. They're going to have, what was it? They're going to add 2 playoff teams in each conference. They're going to have 2 Saturday games, 3 Sunday games, and 1 Monday night game on Wild Card weekend. A Monday night on Wild Card?
That's stupid.
Money. That's all it is.
It's stupid. There's no need.
Don't they not even have a Monday night game week 17?
They don't.
No.
So they skip the one Monday. It's like, all right, we're going to have a Monday night game November 18th, skip the 25th. We'll come back on the 17th of December, and we'll have a Monday night game in the playoffs. So
that's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be like, so, guys, is there Monday Night Football this week? You guys want to go to the bar? Nah, it's not a game this week.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I don't know. Let me check the schedule.
Let me pull out the calendar real quick.
Yep.
Yep.
Actually, I actually heard they're going to do a Monday Night Football game in June this year. So,
Well, technically, they could.
yeah, well, I wouldn't doubt it.
Real quick, Ray Rice released? Yes or no?
No.
Is he the starting running back for the Baltimore Ravens next year, or is it Bernard Pierce? Starter after suspension?
Yeah.
How many games?
2.
I was going to say 2. Yeah. Because I agree with you. It's not the same as alleged rape. It's not the same as drug trafficking. Sam Hurt suspended. It's the fact that it's on camera. He has to be suspended for something like that. I mean,
I like 2 better than 4 now that I think about it.
but guys, we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk IUP Hoops. They had a resounding win Wednesday night on the road at Slippery Rock. They won a share of their 5th consecutive PSAC West Division Championship. I was at that game. We will talk about that, and we will also take a look at college basketball, teams that are on the bubble, who we think should make it and who shouldn't. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Out of Bounds Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Condor. Just letting you know the Out of Bounds Podcast is brought to you by The Pen, IUP Student Voice, with music provided by Beats by The Passion. High five. Don't forget to holler at your boys on Twitter at TheOOBP, and you can also check out our podcast at thepen.org or on iTunes.
And welcome back in to the Out of Bounds Podcast. I am your host, Josh Carney, joined in studio, as always, by Kyle Condor and Dimitri George. And guys, Wednesday night, the IUP men's basketball team went on the road to Morrow Fieldhouse at the Slippery Rock University, and they came out on top, winning their 5th straight PSAC championship. They actually share this one with Gannon because Gannon beat them twice in the regular season. They finished with identical overall records. But guys, last night was one of the most hostile crowds I've been a part of. I mean, I took a video on Instagram, and I could only wish IUP was like that. I mean, these guys were locked and loaded, ready to go.
Imagine if the KCAC filled up.
Well, the KCAC holds 4,000 people. Morrow Fieldhouse, 1,800 is their capacity.
I just saw here announced attendance of 2,780.
Seriously.
Seriously. It says right here, the win came against a rowdy Slippery Rock crowd with an announced attendance of 2,780. Listen, we're not going to be mad at you because you couldn't guesstimate how many people could sit in the stadium.
Well, no. What
I was intrigued. I was intrigued to hear what you were calling the game. Am I correct? On the radio?
I called the women's game, and I got to sit behind the men's bench for the men's game.
Okay, so I'm intrigued right now to hear what that was like. Keep going.
Well, I sat next to the sports information director, the assistant sports information director, Kelly Dumeroff, and while she was tweeting out stuff about the game, we had the student section behind us. I think there were 35 strong that made the trip on the fan bus. Hey, they represented. They were loud.
Come on.
There were some girls behind me that were just ghetto as hell, and I needed a ghetto urban dictionary to understand what the hell they were saying.
I'm not going to say any names. After the show.
They kept saying cash out. Like, what the hell does that mean when it comes to basketball? Oh, he about to cash out. Excuse me? This is not a bank. But
Kyle's a server over here. Cash out is at the end of the night where you go to your manager and say, here's my money. Here's my tip out.
I'm just getting a kick out of this because me and you, we come from a rough town. And Cardi, the poor guy, is probably scared.
I know, seriously.
He's probably like, cash out. Like, should I duck now? Or like, what?
Me and you will be sitting there.
Is Raymond Felton about to show up or what?
I was sitting there just amused because she kept saying cash out with everything, and I think it meant when they were making baskets.
Tell your story about your weekend over back home with the girl at your game.
Not on a podcast. Nope. Later. But oh yeah, I don't want no problems. But it was fun. The field house was rocking. It was loud. When Slippery Rock was in the game early on,
The
that
struggle face I saw of some of the guys on the stream.
ooh.
And like the fans.
Yeah, it was fun though. The football team sat together and they were loud, and it seemed that they
You see
put on.
Barksdale?
Barksdale was not there, but it appeared that everyone put on their weekend best. Everyone was dressed up in a sense. I don't know why, but it was a fun game. Matisse Keita, 21 points on 10 of 12 shooting. He had an emphatic dunk at the end. Hung on the rim a bit. Just kind of showed off. Didn't get a technical, but he hung on the rim, and then that basically did it. Devontae Chance had a great game as well. I think he finished with 10 assists.
10.6 rebounds, 6 assists.
Oh, it was 10 points. That's what it was. And Jeremy Jeffers, 17 points. He was a beast at the very end. The Crimson Hawks would force missed shots, and next thing you know, Jeffers was down at the other end of the court receiving an outlet pass and getting an easy 2 points or drawing a foul and going to the free throw line where he did not miss. But it was an awesome venue. I would love to go back and see another game there between those two teams.
I just passed Matisse walking up here, coming up to the show. Gotta get him back on here. Obviously, the playoffs coming up.
We got to get him or Devontae Chance, because I think Devontae Chance would be one of the best guys to talk to, because there were times the crowd was chirping, okay?
Oh, and I saw it. I could tell on the stream. Like, I saw Devontae.
He was giving it back.
Yep.
That's why I want him on this show. Devontae's a damn good basketball player. But
Cover your fucking mouth.
there was a point in the game. Matisse actually got teed up. The refs were calling soft plays when the Crimson Hawks were on defense. Lewis Briggs was just throwing his body weight around, and the Crimson Hawks would get called for defensive fouls. Then on the offensive end, Devon Cottrell would try to post up, and
I saw he threw an elbow early.
You talk about throwing your body weight around. Maurice Lewis Briggs was 4 for 15 from the floor.
No, and I was going to say
that is awful. What is that? That's like 30%. Rounded up.
I thought Slippery Rock showed a little bit of immaturity as a basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
I thought IUP actually played like the veteran crew that they are, which for the most part. I thought they were very poised going into that hostile environment. Even when Matisse was on, he also highlighted that, there's times where even at home games that, the crowd's not really, the crowd's never, most of the time it's not really a factor, unfortunately.
No, but he said when the crowd's hype, it gets him into the game.
Oh, yeah.
He was like opposing or for us.
Yeah.
When the crowd's hype, it gets him into the game.
He showed it.
Me and you were watching that game, and I said multiple times, I was like, was that Matisse? And you were like, yeah. I was like, I've never seen him do that before.
Right.
Dude, he was on here talking about he's not quick enough to be an NBA player. Yesterday, he was moving. Like him and Marcel. Marcel only had 9 and was 3 for 7 from the floor.
I believe he had 10 rebounds, though, did he not?
Yeah.
9.
9.
Yeah,
Those were a loud 9 points. And, like, Matisse had 21 on 10 of 12 shooting.
Very
I thought
efficient.
he had, like, 30.
Yeah.
Because those were loud points.
I just felt like Maurice Lewis Briggs especially, he knew he had a huge night here, a big night for him when he came to IUP. I thought he was trying to do too much, a little bit out of control.
Yeah, oh my God,
and their coach
out.
couldn't coach the game, I heard, for personal reasons.
Personnel reasons. Something happened between Saturday's game and Wednesday's game. Slippery Rock would not disclose what happened, but they sat him for a game. A self-imposed suspension in a sense. And what's ironic is Slippery Rock used the same terminology as IUP did when they let go of Jeff Dow, the women's basketball coach, last year. So, interesting note there. But Matisse was dominant. The best I've seen him play here at IUP. Jeremy Jeffers was great. Marcel was fantastic defensively. He was all over the place.
Marcel frustrates me, though.
Why is that?
I think he's a very good basketball player. But I feel like he has not. I mean, I know you have told me that he has really grown into a really good basketball player coming from his freshman year where he struggled. I just feel like there's still more in him. I understand his game is from the perimeter. But I don't know. To me, there's just I feel like he can be a really, really good basketball player. He already is a good basketball player. I think there's still room for improvement for him. And I think all these guys have room for improvement, obviously. But there's just times where I feel like he just needs to be more aggressive. I know. Listen, he's a shooter, and if it's not going down, shooters keep shooting. But I mean, for IUP, obviously, with Macy's having 21 off 10 of 12 shooting, I mean, you can't really ask for more from him.
Yeah, you can't really ask for more from anyone on this team, and it was a defensive effort, really. They scored 69 points on offense, and only 6 of those points were off of three-pointers.
They got to the bucket with ease last night.
I saw that. They were moving. They were moving. This is a team that averages...
well, you always talk about their spacing.
Yeah, I do talk about their spacing, but I was watching last night after I made the comment about how spacing hurts them. A lot of their plays begin with one side of the floor flooded, and it seems like I can't even keep my eyes on where the players are coming from, but it was early in the game where Marcel got the ball at the top of the key during a play they were running. He threw an alley-oop to, I think it was Jeremy Jeffers, who would end up missing the layup.
I think it was Northfleet.
Or it could have been Northfleet. But the play was incredible, so I kind of figured out that those are how some of their plays are run, by flooding one side of the court.
Yeah,
it's like all right, ready, break.
It's designed to try and get these guys moving and lose their defenders and get easy layups.
I like that. You don't see that often. A lot of plays usually come from spacing, but they flood the one side. But I was talking about how many threes they made. They average nearly 6 threes per game and only made 2 yesterday.
How many did they attempt?
9. So they were 2 for 9, which isn't good at all. That's awful, actually. But the fact that they were still able to score 69 points is incredible.
The 1 3 that they attempted at the very end was Brandon Northfleet. Shot clock running down. Coach Lombardi said, just hand it to the ref. We'll take the shot clock violation. And Northfleet didn't hear it. Thought he said, do something with it. And Northfleet threw it up. Lombardi chewed him out. But it was a dominant win, and it was a lot of fun. It was fun seeing the Slippery Rock fans sitting down with 4 minutes to go, realizing, we're down 15. This game's over.
I would have loved to be there.
It was awesome. But
damn finance class, I had a test.
Well, there you go. But the women won by 27.
Yeah.
Not much to talk about there. They just destroyed Slippery Rock.
Who was the girl? I was in the middle of taking my test. It was an online test, and I was in the middle. I was listening to you and Goose as I was taking the test, and there was a girl on Slippery Rock that you kept pounding on. I felt bad for the girl.
Jasmine Frost.
Whoever was playing awful, and you said she needs to get out. I don't even know why. You don't even know why she's in the game.
She honestly, she hurt the team more than she was helping. Her first 6 possessions, the first 6 times she touched the ball, she was credited with 2 offensive fouls and 4 turnovers. And at one point, she threw an elbow at Melanie Todd because Melanie Todd was
chirping,
bodying her.
Oh.
And she got her 3rd foul. At times, she tried going 1-on-4. It didn't work because she was bad. She's been awful in 2 games against IUP. She's a great player, but she doesn't play IUP. I'll say this. She sucked against IUP this year. And it was her senior year, and she went out doing absolutely nothing.
I love this stat. 10 of the women's basketball players on IUP had a field goal made last night.
Yep.
That'll get the job done. That will get the job done. I'm all about spreading the ball. They had 10 players.
If you don't know anything about Kyle Condor from listening to the show, he loves spreading the wealth, and he loves players that love the game.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's all I really need to know.
That's what we as fans love to see. I'm not. I don't know.
Oh, there goes the iPhone.
I guess let's not get into it too in depth, but I mean, I don't know. In the first half, the women's IUP basketball team shot 51% from the floor, and the Slippery Rock team shot 28%. So.
At one point, the numbers were skewed to 57 and 18.
Good.
So, and really quickly before we move on to Division I college hoops, I question Tanya Longo's coaching decisions for Slippery Rock. One of her best players, Megan Hardiman, had hit 4 straight threes. Okay, she was 4 for 4, 12 points. Took her out of the game when they were down 13. Took her out of the game completely. And then they ended up falling behind by 22. And she said, oh, get back in there. And by that time, she was out of her rhythm.
So where do the IUP basketball teams stand now, Josh?
The men are tied for the PSAC West division title with Gannon. The women are 4th overall in the PSAC West behind Gannon, Edinburgh, and Cal. And they will take on UPJ, University of Pitt Johnstown, Saturday, March 1st at the KCAC at 7 p.m. Dimitri George and...
It's at 7.
It's at 7. And Mike Gosnell will have the call on 90.1. They're the only game.
Who's telling me they're at 4:30? Well, no, I guess
you don't got to be there at 4:30. The game is at 7.
Sheesh.
The men will play Tuesday at either East Stroudsburg, Bloomsburg, Westchester, or...
I thought it was at home. I thought their first game was home.
No, the Tuesday... No, they play Wednesday. But Tuesday, it's Mercyhurst and another team that plays at the KCAC.
Oh.
So...
We should totally go there and just completely boo them. Or not.
Why not?
I don't care. But, guys, moving on to Division I basketball. Getting very, very close to March Madness.
Is
Conference
it already March?
In 4 days.
No. 4 days.
2 days. I'm sorry. Whoa, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday, my friend.
This will be brought to you on Friday.
So
We're recording on a Thursday. So one day
When this
it'll
is
be
out.
March. March 1st will be a Saturday. There's a lot of big games on that Saturday. LSU at Florida is a big game.
Don't hate because Josh Carney looked at his Rolly to tell what time it was. All right. So.
My G-Shock?
Rolex.
My
No,
G-Shock?
Rolex.
I don't roll that.
Josh.
Kyle Condor with the ice chain around his neck, the
Yeah.
bright gold. I see you. Okay.
I know you see these $3,000 earrings I got in my
Yeah.
ear right now, right? These joints are glistening.
Yeah, if you
25
ever
bucks
wanted
right
to
here.
know, we're all, cashed out.
Come on. What does that
We're all
mean?
cashed out in the booth right now.
Guys, anyways, moving on. There's a lot of debates about who are bubble teams, who gets in, who gets out. And first in the ACC, in the mix, Florida State, North Carolina State, Clemson, Maryland, and Pitt. The one team we're going to focus on, we're going to do this differently. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to talk about the team, and then we're going to move on. So Pitt, in or out, why or why not? Dimitri.
Ugh. I'm totally messing up already because we're supposed to go fast, but I have them out, quite frankly. They don't have a win against a top 50 RPI, I think.
They're 1-6 against the top 50.
Yeah, and I think they had one game they had earlier in the year.
You want to know who their win is over?
Hold on, I'll get it for you. What the hell was it?
Number 40, Stanford.
Yeah. And it was a neutral site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should get in.
Too slow, Wilbon. All right, too slow.
Come on, Tony Kornheiser.
Pitt has 7 losses. 6 of them are to decent teams, but that loss to Florida State kills them. If they lose one more in the remaining, 3 games, they're done. So
They've had near misses against Syracuse twice, Cincinnati, Virginia, and North Carolina. They can't get it done against tourney teams. I don't think they're in.
They needed at least one win in the tournament, in the ACC tournament.
In or out, Kyle?
They're out. If you know what, let me say this: if they lose one more, they're out, and they play Notre Dame, North Carolina State, and Clemson. Those are 2 road games in that instead of 3 games. Those aren't easy games at all. Those are conference games. They're out if they lose one of them.
They're out. The only way they get in is if they make some noise in the ACC tournament.
I say they're in, but I think they get in because of the ACC tournament. That's going to do it for that team. Now, VCU, 20-7, RPI of 23, strength of schedule 45. They could be moved up into the lock section, but they lost to St. Louis and Massachusetts recently. They're still a serious threat to the St. Louis Billikens' undefeated record in the A-10. I believe they play them to end the year. They also visit Richmond Saturday. VCU, because of that RPI and strength of schedule, they're in. Javonte Reddick is the real deal. Shaka Smart knows how to get it done come tourney time. I'm putting VCU in. Kyle, what about you?
Yeah, why not? This is a team that faces a tough schedule year in and year out because Shaka Smart does not back down to anybody, to say the least. You mentioned Javonte Reddick.
Yeah.
He is not, much of a scorer.
Defensively, he's a tear.
Yeah, but then they have Travion Graham, who averages 15.8 points per game as well. So I'll tell you this, if they get into the tournament, don't sleep on them.
They're in. They're struggling a little bit right now. But again, getting the tournament, I believe in Shaka Smart. It wouldn't be surprising if they end up in the Sweet 16.
The A10 is really deep and really good. I have them in. Dimitri, you have them in, correct?
Yes.
Kyle, you have them in, correct?
Yeah, why not?
Anything to add on VCU before we move on?
Shaka!
Anything to add?
Yeah, no. All right.
Okay. Next team. This one hits close to the heart. The Oklahoma State Cowboys. 17-10, RPI of 46, strength of schedule of 25. Granted, they lost 6 in a row. They missed Marcus Smart for 3 of those games due to suspension. We already touched on that in an earlier episode of the Out of Bounds podcast. Travis Ford and the Cowboys do not get in unless they beat Kansas Saturday. If they beat Kansas Saturday, they're in. They're coming off of big wins over Texas Tech and TCU recently in Marcus Smart's first 2 games back. But they have to beat Kansas, and I think they have to beat Iowa State to end the year.
Yeah, that Iowa State game is on March 8th. I think that they decide the ins and outs on March 9th. I'm almost
Is that a
positive.
Sunday?
Yes.
Selection Sunday is March 9th, and yes, that would
I'm
be it.
Almost positive. So that's good that they have games versus Kansas and Iowa State right before that deadline there. This is a team who has had one of the most rough schedules. I forget what you said, the 25th?
25th strength of schedule.
That's rough. So they have 10 losses. Mind you, some of those are without their best player, one of the best players in the nation, Marcus Smart. This team has talent alongside of Smart in Markel Brown, LeBron Nash, and Phil Forte. If they win out, that's 5 in a row to end the season. They should be in, because if they get in, they're going to be scary. This is going to be like an 8 seed that has potential to play like a 1 seed. So I say they're in if they win out. But if they lose one more, they can't make it with 11 losses.
They have to win one of their remaining 3 games. They have Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa State. They have to win one of those.
One? If they lose 2, they make the tournament with 12 losses?
They have to at least win one of those to have a chance.
Sheesh.
They have to at least have a chance. And if they don't, then they have to rely on the Big 12 tournament. So I see them
Right now, in.
No.
Kyle.
In, if they win out.
Right now, he said.
In, because I think they're going to win out.
Out. That's going to do it for the Cowboys. I can't believe I just said they're not going to make the tournament. I had them as a 2 seed coming into the year. All right, Pac-12. We have Colorado, who is 20-8 right now, an RPI of 25. Get this, strength of schedule of 11. They lost their best player in Spencer Dinwiddie midway through the year to a torn ACL, but they got a much-needed win over a tournament team in Arizona State last week. But they got blown out by Arizona on their home court on senior night, and they're just 3-7 against the RPI top 50 this year. If they can beat Kansas, they actually beat Kansas this season, okay? So that could help them come Selection Sunday. But their last 3 regular season games are on the road starting Saturday against Utah. As of right now, Colorado absolutely deserves to be in. If they had Spencer Dinwiddie, this wouldn't even be a discussion. But I'm putting the Buffs in. Kyle?
Absolutely, you put them in. You mentioned that they have one of the tougher schedules in the country this year. They finish out versus Utah, Stanford, and Cal, who have beaten some of the top teams in the country. I think they'll beat all of them. There's a player on that team that I love, Askia Booker. That kid's a baller. He's going to be something in the NBA. I kid you not. He's small, but he can beat anybody. And he's surrounded by quite the team. Now, granted, they're not going to have Dinwiddie for the rest of the season, but they haven't all year, and that hasn't hurt them too much. This team is another one that'll be scary if they make it, and I think that they do.
If they win all 3, absolutely. You can be looking at a 6 seed, I think, for them. If they win all.
They'll be 23-8 going into the Pac-12 tournament. They could easily make a run to the Final Four of the Pac-12 tournament.
If they lose all 3, these next games, they're out. So if they win all 3, you can look at it and make a case for a 5 or a 6 seed for them.
They beat Kansas. They beat Oregon. I mean, they've given Arizona a run. You know, this is a good team. They're in.
Kyle, in. Dimitri, in. I'm in. Next team, SEC. Tennessee, 16-11. Strength of schedule, 15th. RPI, 57th. They're a team they're one of the last 4 in my opinion. Well, considered last 4 in as of right now. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games, 2 of which came against bad teams in Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. They've only 1 game remaining against a team that might make the tournament, which is their season finale against Missouri. They have just 1 top 50 win and are 6-9 against the top 100. They are not in, but this team is damn good. Jordan McRae might be one of the best scorers in the country that no one really talks about. Tennessee's loaded. But right now, unless they make a deep run to the SEC final in the tournament, I don't have the Tennessee Volunteers in. Dimitri.
I think they're out. I think they have to win their tournament to get in. I wouldn't say have to. They at least got to make some noise in the tournament. I mean, they lost to Texas A&M twice, so I don't know if you can really trust the team. I know they had a lopsided win against Virginia in December, a 35-point victory over Virginia. But
smoked them.
Yeah, but right now, out. If they make a run in the SEC tournament, in.
Yeah, no, they're out. They have 11 losses.
Say it.
They
That's coming
have
out.
great talent in Jordan McRae, who's near 20 points per game scorer, but they have losses to Xavier, UTEP, NC State, Texas A&M.
Twice.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, Missouri. None of them were ranked when they played them. That's not good. They're not going to make it.
See ya.
You both have them out. I have them out as well, and that's tough, especially with a loaded team like that. They kind of remind me of Oklahoma State in a sense. Loaded, just can't get it done this year. Finally, the Mountain West, a team that is a dark horse for me. Granted, they're now in the top 25 after a big win over San Diego State last Saturday. New Mexico, 21-5 on the year, an RPI of 24, but a strength of schedule of 66. They're most likely a lock after beating San Diego State Saturday, but because of their weak schedule, they're still considered a bubble team. They should be able to cruise to their regular season finale against the San Diego State Aztecs, as I mentioned, in San Diego on March 8th, the day before Selection Sunday. I have New Mexico in because of that win over San Diego State. They beat San Diego State on the road to end the year. They're an automatic in. Dimitri, do you have the Lobos in?
Yes. Simply because they win, like you said, over San Diego State. You took the words out of my mouth. If they beat San Diego State the last game of the year, they're definitely in. But I have them in right now, as we stand here today. Now, if they trip up against Nevada or Air Force, then they're going to have some problems. But
They've got to be in. They're 22-5. You say they have a weak schedule, but they did beat San Diego State, so that makes them a lock, in my opinion. I believe they've cracked the top 25 for the first time all year. I think
Yes.
They are number 25. They have a 20-point per game scorer in Cameron Bairstow. So this is a good team right here. They should be in.
Yeah, I have them in. Guys, that's the bubble. Obviously, Selection Sunday, we will do a podcast that day going through the bracket in a sense. But closing thoughts. Tuesday night, I watched Wichita State for the first time all year live. Okay?
That's who, Bradley? Wasn't that Bradley?
Liz, will you let me finish?
Don't praise them.
I'm going to praise them. That team plays better than anybody when it comes to being a team. Ron Baker is a beast. Clay Anthony Early is going to be a very good NBA player. Fred Van Vliet is pretty good.
Against Bradley.
He'd be good against anybody.
But we don't know that.
We'll see come tournament time. It's the same team, basically. It's the same team. Greg Marshall's a great coach. I don't think he's coach of the year.
He doesn't have the hair on his you-know-whats to face a good team in this nation.
False.
No respect for him.
False. There was a report that came out that they attempted to schedule 4 top 25 teams in the regular season as out-of-conference games. These teams, they wouldn't name them. Those teams backed out because they did not want to face the Shockers.
Really?
Yeah. I think Wichita State's a serious team. Serious. Tequil Cotton is very good, but I'm impressed with Wichita State. Closing thoughts from you two gentlemen at the end of the table.
I got nothing. I just need to tell the Pirates fans to calm down because it's spring training. Okay? That's enough of that spring training talk. We'll wait till I think the Yankees and Pirates play mid-May.
In May at Yankee Stadium.
50.
I may be there for that.
Oh, God. Let's go. I mean, enough
I was gonna say something about baseball too, but I mean, Kyle took my thoughts out of my head. I mean, not Pirates. I mean, I'm looking for the Mets here, but the Mets are gonna be better than the Yankees. Want to put money on it?
Do it right now. Do it right now.
You want to put money on it?
Wait. Let me. What's your target wins? What do you think? How many wins do you think they get? Okay, better in the regular season. Wins and losses.
Who has more wins? Is that what the argument's going to be?
Yeah.
What?
How many wins do you say? Give a number for the Yankees wins this year.
95.
What?
Yeah.
He's nuts. I say. Wait. Am I thinking how many wins I think the Mets are gonna have?
Yes.
I said
60.
I say 84.
The Yankees are not going to have less than 84 wins.
You better put your money where your mouth is.
Are you telling me that the Yankees
If the Yankees had this team 10 years ago, maybe.
You're telling me that the Yankees aren't going to go over 500?
84 is over 500 last time I checked.
You said that the Mets are going to have 84 wins. How many?
Yeah,
All right, so you think that the Mets are going to have more wins than the Yankees?
Yes.
What do we?
If it's one
Who's
win,
doing something crazy if that doesn't? If you lose this bet, and what is doing? Josh, I want you to tell me what we're doing. If whose team has less wins?
Well,
What's going on?
for starters, one of you has to rock the opposing team's gear.
Fair enough.
And it has to be the photo has to be taken. You have to do it in public. It can't be hidden in your apartment.
And let me close it out on this statement. That photo will be posted on our Twitter at TheOOBP. Holla.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. Great transition. Guys, that's going to do it for the 11th episode of the Out of Bounds podcast. The Pittsburgh Pirates are 2-0 in spring training. For Dimitri George and Kyle Condor and Adam Clapp, our WWE expert. I'm your host, Josh Carney, signing out.
all right, see ya.
What's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Condor. Just letting you know the Out of Bounds podcast is brought to you by The Pen, IUP Student Voice, with music provided by Beats by The Passion. High five. Don't forget to holla at your boys on Twitter at TheOOBP, and you can also check out our podcast at thepen.org or on iTunes.